Hi, welcome to GothCast, episode 32. I'm Dr. Sanders.
This is Robbie Gore.
And today we're going to have another slightly more obscure band.
Yeah.
And this is going to be And Also the Trees.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the actual name of the band, And Also the Trees.
Yeah, so this band was formed in 1979 in Inkborough, Worcestershire, and composed of two sets of brothers, which were Simon Jones and Justin Jones, and Graham Havaz and Nick Havaz. I hope I'm saying those names right, but closest I could get to it.
Mm-hmm.
But they have some royalty in their blood.
Yeah. So early on in their career, they had worked with The Cure.
Yep.
And this is like from around 82 to around 84.
Actually, as early as 81.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, 17 seconds here.
Yep.
But yeah, we have, or is it 17 seconds, or is that Faith? I don't remember the exact years, but you know what I mean. So this is like the Gothic Cure.
Yep.
And so right around this time, they had worked more so with Lowell Tolhurst than anybody, but they had worked with Robert Smith directly.
Yeah, they had sent initially a home demo tape to The Cure themselves, and then they started working with Tolhurst more directly, at least for their earlier material, the first single, the first album. Then Smith became more involved.
Yeah. And so with the first album, actually, so apart from these like little releases, Tolhurst actually basically like produced their first album.
Yeah.
And so it's in 1984, right? And so I'll say right off the bat that And Also the Trees' first album and their sound is largely almost stereotypically post-punk and goth rock.
I like to use the term prototypically, but
okay.
I see what you're getting at.
I don't want to say it's cliched. It's not quite there, but it's very similar. In fact, I would actually group them in more with like the red lorry, yellow lorry kind of.
Yeah, definitely. They're very much a kind of underground post-punk gothic rock band.
Yeah.
And so they're not quite as well known. Definitely the people who are interested in this band, more of like cult followers, or people who've just heard a song or two by them. Yeah,
exactly. I don't think as many people are delving into their entire catalog like a lot of the bands. And we'll actually get into why I think that is too.
At least our opinions on it.
Yeah. And so I think most people probably are familiar with either their first album or Virus Meadow.
Yeah.
Especially Virus Meadow seems to be the one that most people gravitate towards.
I'll never understand that, but we'll get to that.
Okay. But so just keep in mind, we understand that And Also Trees isn't the most popular band, and it actually in more recent times they have kind of moved away from the kind of label of goth like a lot of these bands. But for the sake of this podcast, when we're going to classify these albums, and especially with the time, the people they're hanging out with, and the sound, I'm gonna call this a post-punk / goth rock albums.
I think that's fair, and I think it's fair to say that one album might necessarily be a different genre than another album.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't exactly call The Cure's later albums true gothic rock.
That's very true, because they had wild mood swings, right? Yeah. Okay, so getting into the first album. It's called And Also the Trees. So
self-titled debut.
I cannot stand it when bands name albums after themselves.
It does sometimes seem lazy. There are times when it doesn't bother me as much, but I kind of wonder if that's just because I like the albums.
Yeah. Well, Bauhaus never had an album called Bauhaus, so I don't know. I just always think that's so lazy. I mean, with all the other words in the world, from all across these different languages, like all, it's like, I can't think of an album title. Name it after the band, I just never understand that. So And Also the Trees is 1984, right?
Yeah.
So working with Tolhurst and The Cure somewhat, I wish we could find exactly how involved they were with the least songwriting process, but
I don't think for this album as much at all. I think this one was really just Tolhurst kind of directing the sound, at least from what I can find.
Yeah. So if you want to know what The Cure was up to at that time and you don't want to go listen to our podcast, which by the way, you totally should listen to our podcast on The Cure, part 2, 1984, and also Susie and the Banshees, I think part 2.
In fact, you should just listen to all of our episodes.
But yeah, so by 1984, The Cure would release the album The Top, which isn't our favorite album of them from the 80s. But yeah, so this album was released the same year as The Top by The Cure.
Yep.
The same year as Hyena by Susie and the Banshees.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also The Glove.
Maybe
too.
that's why The Top didn't turn out so great. They were busy working on this album.
I don't know about that. I don't know. A lot of reasons. Well, technically, Smith was the only one at that time, I think, in The Cure. Or he's the only one on that. Yeah, well, okay. So, can't get off on The Cure tangents. But with this album, you're going to have a very expected kind of sound to this album.
Yeah, there's one review I'll reference because I think it very much kind of sums up how I feel about this album. And, normally I don't like to draw from other people's reviews, but I just felt like this really rung true with this album and kind of this band in general. And I'm sorry if I offend anyone who likes this band. It's not an entirely negative review, but AllMusic wrote, while lacking in immediately catchy songs, partially due to the fact that at this point the band generally favored series of verses or poetry without rhyme to more conventional lyric structures, the album still kicks up some smoke. That's kind of how I feel about this. This is not a bad album. It's an okay album.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple songs that I like on here. I think that the opening song, so this is Silence, is decent.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the third song on the album, Midnight Garden.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be honest with you, when you get to side B, that's really where they lose me.
Yeah. Actually, I think my favorite out of the songs on here, at least to stand out, and I'm going to explain a little bit about the songs, but I have two that are my favorites. And one is Shrine. That's probably my favorite song on the album. And then
Shrine is good. I feel like it's kind of like in the middle of a bunch of weird songs, though.
Well, yeah. But then also the last song, Out of the Moving Life of Circles. And the reason I actually like that one is because it has like more of almost like a ballad type thing. It's a little bit more melodic. Mm-hmm. But I gotta say, for most of this album, it sounds a little bit the same. And unfortunately, having a lot of experience with gothic rock and post-punk music, this album really blends into that crowd. And it's not that it's a bad album.
No, not at all. But I think I have to agree with you. This album definitely suffers because I feel like it doesn't really take any risks.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the sound of the instrumentation and everything
is good. The sound of the band is good.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to flat out say what my biggest problem with this band is.
What is it?
I don't like their vocalist.
Oh.
I plain and simple, I don't like their vocalist.
I'll say it's not my favorite set of vocals. I think on albums after this one, it's better. I think with this album,
I like the music more on this album, though, and so it's always like this weird, sad, like, I'm never really happy with any of their albums.
Oh, where you like the music more on this album than the other albums, but you like the vocals better on the later albums? Yeah, that does suck. But, yeah, I mean, the guitar sound is that chorusy, kind of delay, kind of tinny, like...
Yeah, I would very much describe this album as a marriage between The Cure and the Sisters of Mercy. It kind of sounds like The Cure is playing the instruments and Andrew Eldridge is drunk and singing the vocals.
I don't know about necessarily Andrew Eldridge, but like it does kind of have that like almost like a like Red Lorry, Yellow Lorry kind of thing to it, where like the vocals
kind of they're so much deeper than the Red Lorry, Yellow Lorry.
That's true.
That's mostly why I referenced Sisters of Mercy.
Yeah, I will say that. Yeah, even people who have heard this band, I've shown and also Trees too. The one thing that a lot of them say is they don't like the vocals, and I know some people really do, and I think it is one of those kind of things like Fields of Nephilim. Like, either you're gonna like the singer or you're not. So I just thought, that's a pretty good thing to get out right at the beginning. Yeah, is that if you don't like the vocals the way that they are on this album, then you're probably not gonna like them on the rest of them, because like Fields of Nephilim, they have a specific style. Yep. And while they change it up a little bit, it's always the same kind of sound because the same kind of singer.
Yeah, the same singer. Literally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, I think that the strongest point of this album is the instrumentation.
I definitely agree with that.
And you have
there's some good production. Yeah. There's good instruments on this album.
Good bass too.
Yeah,
by the way.
really good bass.
Yeah, good basses.
But beyond that, it doesn't really catch my attention. Like, this album is not one that sticks with me. I really want to say something more positive about this album because I think this is my favorite of these.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? It's just a weird one. Like, I don't know. It's hard to talk about music that, at least I think, is okay, because the album doesn't necessarily do a ton of stuff wrong. I would think my biggest point of contention with it is the way that the vocals sit on the music.
Yeah.
Because I think that, and they do it better on the next albums, but the way that, and when I say the vocals sit in the music, it's the way that, like, how loud the vocals are. I think the vocals are too loud on this album. And unfortunately, there is some of that kind of talk singing stuff.
Yeah. They do something that I'm very not fond of, which is the Jim Morrison, I'm going to read poetry over the music thing that you were stoned in the 60s, maybe you would enjoy, but I don't care for it.
Yeah, something like that. But that's just it's just weird. It's just hard to, I don't want to pick on this album. It sounds like we're picking on this album because
I know it sounds like we are.
I know. I'm trying not to, but it is. It's just for me it's kind of average. I mean, there's some good songwriting. Like, it's not bad, but it's just pretty average.
No, I will say okay. I'm going to be as objective about this as possible.
Yeah.
I think that I like the first half of the record the most. Mm-hmm. It's not perfect, but I think that is the best half of the record. There are some decent points on the second half, but for me, they're overshadowed by the fact that most of the songs in the second half of the record I don't like. There's great instrumentation, but without me enjoying the vocals, it's really hard for me to get into this.
It's just hard. It's just hard for me. I don't want to say a whole bunch of bad stuff, but I would say give it a shot. I mean, I guess.
I think that some people will like this, and this is why I don't want to discourage people from listening to this album. I would say definitely, I don't know, if you're interested in finding something new, you're all gothed out on your current playlists and albums and whatnot, then I think definitely check out this band, because I think that for a lot of people there's going to be something here to enjoy. There's going to be, I think that people are going to relate to this band because they do have a fan base. Yeah. They definitely have a huge cult following. They don't have, like a mainstream following. Really.
They're still going. I mean, yeah they're still performing.
But there's lots of people who love this band, and so I don't want to write them off and say that they're a terrible band, don't listen to them. Yeah. Because they aren't. They're not a terrible band. They don't do anything horribly. Nothing on this album is atrocious. Just because I'm not particularly a big fan of their singer doesn't make this album automatically bad. So I still recommend this album.
Yeah. If you're not going to listen to the rest of this episode because you were so mad about that one, I'm still going to listen to some of the other albums because the vocals, I like them better on the other albums. Especially now, I think they write the actually like modern day. Yeah, like I actually think that the vocals work a lot more, but that's for another time. Yeah. All right. So that's, and also the trees
and also
the album.
Trees.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so now we're going to do recent interesting goth stuff,
aka Riggs,
and we're actually going to do an update on a story that we talked about. Gosh, a long time, like right when we started, I think.
Yeah, I think it was like a couple months into it.
Yeah. So a actual trailer for Rob Zombie's film 31 has come out.
Yeah. So initially we had just talked about a teaser that had been released for it. Yeah. Which didn't really give a whole lot away about the film. Yeah. But now there's official full trailer released, and I gotta say I'm very interested in this.
Yeah. Actually, we talked about pretty much the teaser trailer was just talking about his other movies. Yeah. But with this one, it actually looks pretty cool, and I gotta say, with Rob Zombie, I think we said it when we talked about it last time. Yeah. You kind of know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get some loud music, a lot of blood, probably some crazy characters and stuff. And this one is kind of doing the clown sort of sideshow thing again, that he touches on with House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects, and pretty much anything he ever does. I just thought that it's probably two most popular things that people know that have circus influences. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be one of those things where people have to escape from a certain thing, and from like basically trapped and have to survive a certain amount of time, kind of like Saw or some. Not like Saw in that
not quite like Saw.
Not like Saw in that they're in situations, but
like a really dark Hunger Games
or Running Man. Yeah. Yeah, but it looks cool. Like kind of has that creepy like sideshow sort of thing.
Yeah, the characters all look really cool too.
Yeah, and of course his wife's gonna be in it.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, costuming looks great. Makeup looks great.
he always does it so well too. And a lot of people actually criticize movies for that, for having more style over substance.
Yeah,
and like you could say that. I mean that's true in a way that he does put a lot of focus on the aesthetics of anything, but that's why these things sometimes work. It's why they're very interesting.
He's not Baz Luhrmann though.
Huh?
At least he's not Baz Luhrmann.
That's true. But he could be the modern day Dario Argento. I don't know. The things look really cool. But yeah, as far as it's actually been released to, I think, film festivals a few months ago, and it got, I would say, mediocre reviews.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's only been reviewed by 9 people.
Yeah, so, but from other outlets, like Fangoria or whatever, people who saw it from there, they give it pretty positive reviews.
Yeah.
And they say, this is a good horror movie. And a lot of people are saying, like,
I think that horror fans are going to like this film.
Yeah.
And film critics are always, very harsh on horror films.
Yeah, and especially with, I forget what Variety said, but it was something really, really like, oh, he tries so cool to be, there's all this blood and, oh, look at me. I was like, it's a horror movie. Like, people want to see blood and be scared.
Yeah,
like,
what was his review of American Horror Story?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just so weird. And, yeah, but of course, those big people, they always hate, they hate horror movies.
Yeah.
So, be looking out for that. It's going to be released September 16th on, I think, select theaters because of the reason, and I don't know if they're going to change it.
Yeah, it's got an NC-17 rating currently.
Yeah. And so that usually affects what theaters will carry it.
Definitely.
It really impacts the opening weekends for it, just because...
Which I always find funny because, our rating essentially says you can't get in the movie unless you're 17 or you have an adult with you. And the only difference between NC-17 and R is that you can't get in with an adult.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be old enough.
Would argue that maybe that's what an R rating should be in the first place.
Right? I'm sure anyone who's not 18 listen to our podcast would probably disagree with you. Or 17.
Know. I mean, I've been there. I snuck into plenty of movies, but,
I mean, you mean you went to go see R-rated movies with your parental guidance?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and like all Rob Zombie stuff, I'm always interested. In fact, his new album came out, and actually, I didn't think it was that bad. And he's just like really creative. I don't know. He's like one of those guys who, like, because the internet exists.
Yep.
He just does tons of stuff.
Yeah.
And I actually listened to a few podcasts, like, in a few interviews with him, and it's always really funny because he's always like, why am I always doing all this stuff? Like, he's got like new album came out this year, new music videos for that.
Yep.
And then he has a new movie coming out, and then he's also like trying to promote that and do all this stuff. So, and I think he's also on tour, like, last year when he was making the movie. So this is all the stuff he's always doing. And
very busy man.
Yeah. So look forward to that. And maybe you could, when it comes out on Blu-ray, buy that and then take it home to, where if you move recently, if there's any place you're trying to look for in the market right now that you can move in probably soon. We have one here. Oh, the next news story actually has to, the Amityville house is actually on the market.
Yeah. So if you wanted the perfect house to watch a great horror film in.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we don't know if it's a great horror film yet.
Yeah, we actually don't know.
But what looks like an interesting horror film.
Yeah, the Amityville house is back on the market.
Yeah.
And they've taken out the evil, like the current owners, I think, have taken out the evil eye windows, where it looks like it's like a face.
Yeah.
So it looks more like a basic house.
Yeah. A little sad. But.
Yeah. But yeah, you can buy the house for the asking price right now is $850,000.
Yeah, which is actually surprisingly low for what the house is and what, like,
the history behind it.
I mean, most people normally murders lower the cost of houses, but in the case of Amity, because it's a film franchise associated with it.
Yeah. So it's had like I think 4 owners or something since all that crazy stuff happened.
Yep.
And they say that there's not, like, the people who live there every single time say that they haven't had anything weird happen.
So it doesn't look like it's haunted.
Yeah, basically. But it's
But if you want to tell people if you have a haunted house,
yeah, I say I live in the Amityville house. I put the windows back in if I live there.
I would
the
too.
evil windows. But apparently, like people kept stealing like their lawn gnomes and stuff. It's like all the time. I think that's something like from the Goonies house too. Like people live in like famous houses. They get like stuff stolen all the time. But yeah, like I guess initially like when the guy bought it, the guy who's there now. I guess the person was asking like $1 million, and then he went down to like 900 or 950. And then now he's selling it for $850. So I guess it must be a pretty tough sell. I mean, I can imagine. I mean, if only 4 owners in that time, and with probably what they have to deal with people just like constantly, coming to be like, hey, can I come inside?
But if you're kind of well off, it's not completely out of the question to buy.
Yeah. $850,000.
Most houses in Orange County cost about that much.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, it's and then also people think that the reason they put it up for the market right now is because The Conjuring 2 came out, and actually, by the way, it's making a ton of money.
Yeah,
$40 million in like the opening weekend. That's not for a horror movie. That's pretty good.
I know. I wasn't a huge fan of the original Conjuring.
It wasn't bad. I saw it in theaters.
It's not bad. Yeah. It's just like I felt like it was a really okay horror film.
Well, I saw it on opening. Usually, whenever there's like a big horror movie release, I try to go see it on opening weekend because that's gonna be the best experience. Like in the theater, packed with people.
See, but I feel like then you're kind of riding off of like everybody being excited about it.
That's why I think that kind of movie, like the big budget horror movie, is gonna be. Well, I mean, big budget in terms of like horror movie budgets, not like.
It doesn't
Avengers.
cost a lot to make a horror film, by the way.
Yeah. But when you go there and then you're feeding off everybody's energy, like everybody's scared. You go, like everybody laughs because they're like so riled up. But yeah, I thought that was funny. The timing for it is going to be like right when The Conjuring 2. I was like, smart man. Okay, and then in our last story.
This is going to be.
This is a weird one. So there's going to be a new Predator going into filming, and
they don't know if it's going to be a reboot or a sequel. We know 50 Cent is
he's going to be in it.
Yeah.
He said 50 Cent said he was going to be in it, and he's done some acting with like in action movies and stuff, but I'm
curious to know who or what he might play.
Yeah, right?
Like person or predator.
He could. No way he's gonna play Predator.
I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah. So
he doesn't have to talk.
I guess it's true. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen a movie he's in. Now to think about it, he's been in a few. I think. I don't know. I'm not keeping up with 50 Cent's acting career.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the producer has basically said that it's going to be like a reinventing the franchise.
Yeah, which I'm not sure that any fans really want.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling this might be a big flop.
Yeah, I mean, well, if they... I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. I feel like...
it might not be a flop, but it might be kind of like an AVP sort of situation where the film like kind of does well, but no one really regards it as a good movie.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we should have like a movie screen here where we live, and we were watching the AVP movies.
Yeah.
And man, those movies are okay. Kind of. I second one's kind of.
They're really okay. This is why I told Dottie because I bought the 2 films because I felt like watching them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're really fun to watch. However, I don't think that they're particularly great films.
No, they're not. It's a weird, like the kills are crazy and stuff, like that stuff's cool, but it's like really average. I don't know, but they're fun. Like they're fun with people.
It's kind of like a fun movie to put on when you have like a bunch of friends over.
Yeah. But I think that that's one of the differences between those movies and the actual movies that they're both the franchises.
Either the Alien films or the Predator films.
Yeah, because Predator is actually a really good movie to watch by yourself, and it's pretty much good any time. Yeah, it's just amazing.
Alien is an amazing film to watch by yourself.
And also Predator 2 and Predators.
And Aliens.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to skip straight to Prometheus because Alien Cubed and...
the
4th film or
Resurrection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
I don't know that those are so great to watch for
When do you
yourself.
do the? I keep on thinking that we should do the Alien franchise one day, like for the.
I think we should do it after the new one comes out.
Oh, that's a good one. Well, I mean, we could do it. Let's see if we do. I will talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Predator. Like, so the producer's saying it's going to be like a reboot or it's going to reinvent the franchise. So a lot of people thinking that he's saying that it'll be a reboot.
Yeah.
But then I think like one of the people who's involved with this saying it's going to be a direct sequel to the 1987 Predator, which
who knows?
I mean, yeah,
Prometheus, like 2, is supposed to be continuation of Prometheus 1,
which was a prequel to Alien,
and then it just turned directly into a sequel to Aliens, and then I guess there's still going to be a Prometheus 2.
Yeah, it's gonna be like I think it's gonna be like Prometheus 2 and then Alien Covenant or there's some. It's so crazy. Like all these like really long standing series and stuff. Like they just complicate them a lot because I think people are okay with the idea of like a reboot or like a similar thing that doesn't quite have continuity, like Mad Max Fury Road or something, where it's like similar but not.
Like Prometheus did really well. Like,
yeah,
it's. I'm gonna call it a prequel. I know. Director does not like to call it that.
Yeah, Ridley Scott is really weird about it. I mean, I don't know. There's like, if you think about it, if you watch the after credits thing, there's a xenomorph in it. That's what the aliens are actually called. There's a xenomorph in it. There is the engineers who were the space jockeys in the first movie, who were all dead. But like,
and it explains how the xenomorphs come into existence and how they would come to, come in contact with humanity.
Yeah, it's just all this.
I think that's pretty hard not to call that a prequel.
Yeah, but there's all this. There's a whole bunch of complicated stuff with that. I'm sure somebody listening to this is going like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are so wrong!" Like, here's exactly where Prometheus is.
It's definitely not a prequel because there's another species of aliens.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's really complicated, but
it's a film about the existence of humanity and where they came from.
I don't care. But yeah, so look out for a new Predator. It should be starting filming. Basically, they're going to start filming it later this year. And surprisingly, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Predators is kind of a weird one that they made, like just out of nowhere. So, heck, it could be good.
There's a chance for it to be good. I'm not ruling it out now. It just seems a bit strange.
Yeah. So, yeah, new Predator, and then also. What year is it? I mean, there's going to be new Alien movies, new Predator. There's going to be a new Blade Runner.
And then I think one of the most interesting things we found is that a Evil Dead fan has cut the entire Ash vs. Evil Dead series into one film.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, we complimented Ash vs. Evil Dead highly when it was on, and I still think it's amazing, and I cannot wait for season 2 because it ends on a freaking cliffhanger.
Yeah, I know, of course it would.
I was just like, I loved Evil Dead because I thought it incorporated the Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yeah,
not Evil Dead or Evil Dead. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But I thought it incorporated.
Well, technically, it's The Evil Dead and Evil Dead.
Is the first one called The?
Yeah.
Look at my VHS right there. Does it say The?
Where is it?
It's right next to the book right there on the shelf, on the second middle shelf, at the end.
The Evil Dead.
Wow, it does say The Evil Dead. Wow. I have just in case anybody's wondering where we record the podcast, there is in fact a little shelf that has a VHS copy of
the Evil Dead.
The Evil Dead on it, the original one. But yeah, so I thought that Ash vs. Evil Dead incorporated everything that was like great about all series. It has these really super dark, satanic things that was even almost like the reboot, almost like worse than that, or it's very similar to that. And then it has the
campiness of Army of Darkness and Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, and all the special effects, for the most part, were pretty good.
Yeah.
We talked about...
There was some bad CG, but then there was also some really cool practical stuff.
So it's...
But I think that the bad CG was just that they had no funding for this. And
trying to get off the ground for as long as they did.
And I kind of think that's indicative of that the second season will probably be more practical effects laden.
Yeah, and by the way, there is a second season coming out. It has already been greenlit.
Yeah.
I forget if we mentioned that or not. I think maybe I posted on Facebook or something like that. But yeah, they already got the greenlit for a second season. And but But yeah, I thought it incorporated everything that was really great about the series. And yeah, this guy made like a 4.5 hour supercut movie of all of Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Yeah, so we're currently downloading that, and we're gonna project it onto a screen. Pretend like we're in the 1970s.
That's right. Oh, yeah, it also has a VHS filter. So
so it looks like Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness.
Yeah, definitely how I remember it. I mean, that's how I saw the Evil Dead was on VHS initially. Which, by the way, it was like that movie blew my mind. I saw the first one first, so that's I saw them in order, so it's crazy, like just the difference. But yeah, we thought that'd be interesting. You can find that if you look up like Ash vs. Evil Dead like movie or something,
or fan cut, something like that.
So that's all our news. It's been a pretty
random
interesting gossip.
Yeah.
That's not our news. It's random interesting gossip.
Or recent. I don't even know what we named it anymore.
Recent interesting gossip.
I just know it's called Riggs.
I was listening to some of the older episodes and like they're still called news. And I was like I'm gonna think of something else. That's what I say on. It's funny. But yeah, so that's recent interesting gossip stuff. So Ash vs. Evil Dead fan supercut, Predator movie beginning filming in fall, Amityville House back on the market, and heck, Rob Zombie's 31 looks okay.
Yep.
So let's get back to music. Okay, now we're on to Virus Meadow.
Yes, this is the second studio album by And Also the Trees, released in 1986, again on the same record label, Reflex.
Right. 2 years later.
Yep.
So I feel like they pushed their music into a little more of a melodic direction. I
would agree.
They brought in more things like keyboards, and there's even like some kind of like mock string kind of things.
I do enjoy that. Some of the songwriting for the instrumentation I don't enjoy as much. But the actual production, I think, very much steps up for this album.
I actually liked everything more on this album, which
I don't.
Well, except for I'm gonna say one of my biggest problems with this album, and it's actually the kind of talk singing parts. In fact, they're
much more prominent on this album than they were on the last one.
Yeah, it's the kind of poetry thing, but it just doesn't flow well with the music. Like, I think, the opening track, Slow Pulse Boy, like that is like one of my least favorite songs, if not my least favorite song on the album, but it's the first song on the album.
Yeah.
And as far as the actual singing, like the, not talk singing parts,
he
kind of sounds like almost like Nick Cave, kind of like the style, not like actually like Nick Cave, but
his voice sounds nothing like Nick Cave.
but the delivery of it is similar to it. But as far as the instrumental parts of this, I do like some of it a lot more than I liked on the first album.
I would agree. I think, I don't know, I have mixed feelings about the instrumentation on this album.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the production for it steps up. So the guitars that sound great on the last album sound even better on this album.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they introduced more, keyboards and synths and ethereal things to, the production. But there are more than a couple songs that I feel like the chord progressions are just two chords repeating over and over again, and I get so bored listening to it.
Yeah.
And so that's my critique of the music for this album.
Yeah.
It's not a huge critique, but again, the vocals kill this album for me. Like, they get better in the sense that they're mixed better, and I think his delivery is better on this album when he's actually singing, but I don't find him singing all that much.
Yeah, actually, a good example of one where I really like the instrumental pieces of it, but I don't like the talk singing kind of thing.
Yep.
Is actually Gone Like the Swallows.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really like the instrumental pieces in that.
Yeah, okay. And this is where I will say I think the band really starts to shine is when they start writing instrumental pieces.
Yeah.
Because it shows that they're clearly capable of writing great songs. And somehow something gets lost whenever they add vocals to it.
Yeah, it's weird. In fact, actually one of my favorite songs on the album is Dwelling Place, which of course is an instrumental.
Yeah.
But it's just...
I think that's probably my favorite song on the album as well.
Yeah, that's funny. But then you also have songs like Jack, which is, it's pretty good. I like that song a lot, actually. But it's only because it has this kind of creepy thing. In fact, the vocals actually tend to work better with more creepy sort of songs. But
I would agree.
But they don't do an insane amount of those.
No, they don't. And that's why I feel like their vocals sound like they want to be really goth, but then their instruments are much more melodic. I feel
Much more like post-punk.
Yeah, it's this weird clash for me, and I'm not.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, Virus Meadow, the actual title track, is actually probably my favorite song on the album. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
But then you also have things like Vincent Crane, it's like 6.5 minutes long.
Oh my god.
And it just it's okay, but that's the problem. It's okay. And the Dwelling Place, which is the instrumental for it, is really short but really awesome.
Yep.
So you have this I have this super weird opinion of this album where I like the things I like a lot.
Yeah.
But the things I don't like, I don't even want to listen to.
Yeah. I would say it's pretty accurate.
And what's weird is usually either people say that this album or was it the Millpond Years, which is the next one after this, are like their their albums. And today it seems like a lot of people actually just focus on the first two albums, and also Trees and Virus Meadow. But Virus Meadow is always seen as kind of the turning point of when they had the And Also the Trees sound.
Yeah.
And, with adding in a little bit more strings, adding in a little bit like a mandolin kind of things, a little more like the acoustic bits to it.
Yeah.
And like the shift, it pretty much goes on this trajectory, which is different variations. As far as into the next decade, that's a little different, but...
Yeah, at least for the
80s.
Yeah.
What we're covering today. But, I still... It's just hard to say, like, this is this end-all be-all, like, okay, yeah, all these problems are fixed.
Yeah, they aren't.
It still has a lot of problems from the first album.
It's like they fixed one set of problems and introduced an entirely different one.
Yeah, exactly. Or they exacerbated some. They downplayed others, exacerbated some. So, but Virus Meadow, I mean, I think if you're not into the first album, I think, actually listen to songs like Virus Meadow, Gun Like, The Swallows, even Jack, I think that those are great songs. And those will have a better chance of getting you into this band.
Yeah, okay. This is the sad part for me, is that I feel like in order to positively introduce this band to anybody, I can't recommend an album to them. I just have to be like, oh, listen to these songs.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
And I don't like admitting that, but that's how I feel. And I don't want to be dishonest here, or I don't want to pull any punches on what my opinion of this album is.
Yeah.
And it's not a horrible album. It wasn't cringeworthy. It wasn't throwing my speakers out the window when I was listening to it. But I just don't find myself ever really wanting to put on this album.
I kind of agree. I mean, I'll pick a few songs off it, but I don't want to listen to the entire thing. I'm sorry to say that. And I know some people have some serious attachment to this album particularly, but it's funny because I also know, I asked some people, oh, what's your favorite, And Also Trees stuff, and they're like, oh, I like the song Virus Meadow, and I like this song. It's like, okay, what's your favorite album? I don't know, I guess Virus Meadow. But yeah, it is one of those things. I think my friend just posted the song Virus Meadow not that long ago. It was he never listens to the band, so just I don't know. So a few of these songs leak out, and they kind of have existed and kind of gotten their own credibility and love.
And it kind of makes me wonder. I don't like making this perhaps accusation, but I wonder if they would be as successful as they are if they didn't have an association with The Cure.
Okay, so that was Virus Meadow, and I would say listen to it for yourself. And so we'll move on next album.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled podcast, already in progress.
All right. So, contrary to what Wikipedia and many other sources on the internet says, the Millpond Years is not the fourth studio album.
Well, third.
It is not the fourth studio album. It is the third.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, you got it.
Contrary to what Wikipedia and many other sources on the internet say, the Millpond Years is not the fourth studio album by And Also the Trees. It is the third. They are counting a live album, which is cheating because that is not a studio album because you did not record it in a studio.
Yeah. So the evening of the 24th, which was released of 87. So that's between, obviously, Virus Meadow and the Millpond Years.
Yeah.
And it actually is...
I got to say, I like it more than any of their studio albums.
Yeah, actually, the live energy actually really helps with some of the songs. Still have the talk singing and...
They still have the problems that they have, but I'm willing to look past them more on the live album.
Yeah, so if you can find actually that, I mean...
I think that's what I recommend most.
Yeah, if you want to play-by-play kind of the first two albums live and a little bit more energy and definitely pretty good mixing,
I
actually.
think the guitar sounds really good on the live.
Oh, just the instrumentation,
Yeah.
like the way everything's mixed is like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
that's actually a really solid live album if you guys are into, and also the trees.
yeah. So, yeah.
Just thought we'd briefly mention that.
Yeah. But now actually on to the next studio album,
Yeah.
which is the third one.
The third / fourth / whatever studio album.
So the Millpond Years. And this is actually, I think, a better album than both of the previous albums.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Really? What do you mean? What are you talking about, huh?
I don't. Again, more talk singing crap.
You just, man.
I don't like this band. I'm just gonna flat say.
Okay, well, I like this album probably about as much or maybe a little more than I liked Virus Meadow. It has better implementing of vocals. Actually, the first song, The Suffering of the Stream, has really great implementation of vocals, or at least way better.
Yeah.
But it also has like strong keyboards and all this kind of stuff. And you have a lot more of like the keyboard and synth kind of sounds on this one.
And I'll be objective about the album.
Okay, good.
All right. Okay, so what I do like about this album is that they do address a lot of issues. Like you mentioned, a lot of things are mixed better.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the introduction of even more keyboards. I think that's a really good direction for the band to go. I think it really aids the guitar sound. Not that it needed anything, but you know, it just further embellishes kind of the sonic scape of the band.
Mm-hmm.
But where I find myself being angered by this album is that they fix things, and again, there's still problems with this album. And so, again, I just feel disappointed because I keep waiting for them to fix... I keep waiting for a masterpiece album from them, and I don't feel like I ever get it.
That's debatable, but I see what you're saying.
I know it's debatable. Just from my perspective, I never get the album that I want.
Yeah. I think you also have some other issues with the vocals on this one, and that is the kind of mumbly vocal.
Yeah.
And I think that this is probably to like fix some of the problems that I was talking about on the previous ones, where the vocals maybe don't blend as well because they're a little too loud. But then on songs like Simple Tom and The Ghost of Jenny Bailey,
there's an easy way to fix that.
Yeah.
You just turn the fader down.
Yeah, well, on this one you kind of have the low, like mumbling vocals, like and so that's my I like that. But yeah, you sort of have that kind of issue, and then you have songs like This Ship in Trouble, which just has a weird kind of vocals. Even though I do like the song of this sound of the song.
Yeah, I'm just gonna come out and say again, my favorite songs on this album, instrumental.
Well, it's actually crazy because I do think probably the best song on this album is the instrumental, but that's has nothing to do with how I feel about the vocals. It has more to do with how...
No, I'll agree. The reason that that's the best song on the album is because it's the best written song on the album.
Yeah.
Is it a plus that it doesn't have the vocals that I don't like for me? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's... But yeah, I'm just saying, like, you know, it doesn't bother me that much, but the song From the Silver Frost is, I think, the best song on this album.
Completely agree. 100%.
It's just because the way that it's a beautiful piece. It's like a ballad. It has all strings, but it's an instrumental.
Yeah.
And so you don't... Yeah.
They're a really good soundtrack band.
They actually are. But yeah, it's just really weird. But the songs I do like... Actually, you know, like I said, I like The Suffering of the Stream just because I think they implement some of that better. The House of the Heart, which is kind of poppy, kind of like more post-punk, new wavy kind of
House
thing.
of the Heart's decent. I'll give it that.
Yeah, well, it's like soft, gentle guitars and the keyboards and stuff, and it all works really well.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually probably one of the better songs they've ever done.
Yeah.
Is actually that song, at least in my opinion. I know probably people won't agree with that, but yeah, the other
It's
song
among them. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's the best song they've ever done.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's interesting. But then the other one that I don't even know how this song. I don't like this song. It's called Count Jeffrey,
God.
and it's really noisy. It's 6 minutes long, and I didn't like it.
I'm sorry. I don't like to be mean, but this song was unbearable to me.
It just wasn't. It just didn't do it for me. I think, like you said, this album has some good things that they fixed and they worked on, but like the things that are bad, they're still annoying. Like, it's like at 3 albums in, like
I think that's why I keep getting more frustrated as the albums go on. Is
Yeah.
because I expect more from them.
I guess so. I mean, it's you expect something dramatic to change, like I mean, even Red Lorry, Yellow Lorry had a, well, I guess kind of dramatic change by the end. I mean, but not.
This is pretty dramatic. It's
Yeah, like
a very different sound.
Well, Nothing Wrong, especially like Paint Your Wagon was, yeah. But listen to that episode if you want. I either expect something really dramatic for them to start writing around the vocals or something like that, but it feels like they just have the same kind of songwriting sensibility, and I don't know if they were getting a ton of praise for it or what, but they just keep the same way of writing songs. So you have
they're a very consistent band.
Yeah, you just have these similar songs.
That's what I'm gonna say about them. That's my positive note. They're very good consistency.
Yeah, but it's just interesting.
I'm just being a dick today, aren't I?
Yeah, you are. You really are. I know. I had a feeling when we did this one that you wouldn't be as big a fan of it as I was. But yeah, I mean, it still has a lot of the same things. It has a lot of the same good instrumentation.
It does.
Except for Count Jeffrey. I didn't like that. But it's just similar. So you can almost say it's like Virus Meadow Part 2 almost. I mean, it definitely has a lot more of the acoustic kind of like stuff on it. Like more of the softer keyboard parts and everything.
I kind of just want a compilation of all the instrumentals.
Okay. Yeah, we go over that. But yeah, I think, I mean, probably all the same criticisms I have for Virus Meadow I have for this. So
yeah, I feel like these albums are hard to talk about because I feel like I keep having the same issue over and over again.
Exactly. So yeah, it's the Millpond Years.
Yeah, I think that's a fitting name.
Yeah.
Sounds like a sad thing. Kind of a sad thing.
Okay, so now we're on to Farewell to the Shade.
Yes.
And this will close out the 80s portion of and also the trees.
Yeah.
And I do want to do a part 2 of this just so Robert can see the evolution of this band outside of the 80s albums, which he's not fond of. But so it's 1989. And
I've seen this evolution, Donnie. It's we'll get to it.
yeah. So this is what I think actually is probably their best album of this time. I really like Virus Meadow, like I said. I like the songs in there a lot. But this one, while it is kind of samey, like throughout the songs, it kind of sounds similar.
Well, yeah, that's an understatement.
I really like the instrumentation and especially the bass. I think the bass on songs, especially songs like
again, great instrumentation.
Yeah,
and same criticisms.
Well, Prince Rupert, like great bass line, great, fantastic.
I will say that this album steps up in that I find that the bass lines become much more intricate than they were on previous albums, and I enjoy that a lot because on the past albums, while the bass wasn't bad, it was very. I'll use your word, stereotypical.
Yeah.
Just kind of play the root note of the chord.
Can't use my words against me. But yeah, then also on Prince Rupert, I think it shows an example of how the vocals are like at their best on this album.
Yeah.
And I really think that. It's like...
Yet, I still want more.
Well, I'm going to get to that. but then also like keyboards and strings and everything like that. Like I don't know if it's mock strings or real string instruments.
I think they're mock strings.
Yeah, but Prince Rupert's like a great song.
Yeah.
As an example of all those things, like different vocals, good bass lines, keyboards, all that stuff. But then of course you have Macbeth set, and so it's again great bass, and talk singing, and it's like this. And first, I don't know if it's just us. I really don't know if it's just us, but
I don't know. I feel like we're gonna get a lot of backlash for this episode.
I don't know.
At least I am.
I know you should definitely. Everybody go after Robert.
Feel free. Send me hate mail. It's okay. I feel like I deserve it, but I'm sorry. That's just how I feel.
I see. I don't think it's as bad as you're making out to be, but yeah, you also have the Nobody In, which is a great instrumental.
Yes, it is, Donnie.
Which is familiar. Oh man, this is a weird episode, but yeah, it's true. The instrumental is really good. And it's one that doesn't have any vocals on it. Gosh, yeah, it's just really. They have a formula. I'll say that they have a formula by this album.
They do. They have a formula. Like I said, I'm gonna stick to my positive criticism. They're a very consistent band.
Yeah. But Belief in the Rose, that's actually my favorite song on this album. Has a mission-y kind of sound.
Yeah.
With this,
I'm gonna agree with you. This is my favorite song. No. The instrumental is my favorite song on this album.
Okay.
Aside from the instrumental, this is my second favorite song on the album.
Yeah, kind of has a 12-string like harpsichord kind of sound on it. It's great.
I enjoy it because it sounds like one of my all-time favorite bands, which is The Mission.
I see. Are you just an island in a stream?
So much better than and also the trees.
I got it. I mean, you also have the song Misfortunes, which is okay. It's got this kind of epic, kind of ballady sort of thing. And and also the other one that kind of sounds like Belief in the Rose, which obviously I like that song, so is The Pear Tree.
Yeah.
The 12-string, use of 12-string, the sort of like Celtic-y influence, I guess that's a word.
Also, those songs are kind of similarly named Mission songs.
Actually, you're right. Yeah, that's weird. Huh? We should look into that. But yeah, I like those songs a lot, and I think that's really where they kind of should have gone from the beginning anyway.
I agree.
Yeah, like that a little bit softer, definitely a little bit more, I don't know, bellowy vocal, or
either that or they should have gone the like way creepier route.
Yeah, I think that would have helped a lot. Yeah, I just feel like with all these albums, and while they are very similar, like especially from Virus Meadow, Millpond Years, and Last of the Shade.
This would have been a good episode to a video record, so people could see my expressions while we're talking about this.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, with from Virus Meadow to Farewell in the Shade, while they're similar, they do different things. Especially, I think the introduction of using like 12 strings and the kind of harpsichord sort of like stringed sort of sounds worked a lot better than like the typical post-punk rock band kind of thing. But it did and it didn't for me because yes, it worked better with their overall sound, which is the fact that they have to deal with the singer that they have. But if you subtract their singer, suddenly the other songs sound a lot better. Well, you gotta think about this. The album's almost 30 years old, so not much they can do now. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of a.
We're never gonna get an interview with this band.
No, it will not. It definitely will not happen. I don't know. Like
I'm sorry, and also the trees. Donnie loves you. I'm a piece of crap.
Yeah. But I don't know. You'll see. I think you'll see as time goes on. If we ever do a part 2, depending on how much hate we get for this episode, that like, especially now, I think that their sound is actually at its best, which is crazy.
No, I would agree with you, but it's also I feel like changed a lot more.
It has. Yeah, it has
significantly.
Yeah. So I feel like, and also Tree's modern music is actually probably the best, most enjoyable that it's ever.
But I don't know that it would necessarily appeal to our audience.
That's true. I don't know. It probably that's a tough one. I don't know. I mean, that's a really good question. I did not think about that when I was going to say the statement. Yeah, but that's farewell to the shade, and this is farewell to part 1 of And Also the Trees. Now, if you guys want us to do a second part, we will cover all the 90s material and everything else they've been working on.
I'll let you know right off the bat that I'll be much happier to do those episodes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, unless you want to hear me and Robert argue for like another hour about stuff. But yeah, I think this band actually got better as time went on. And unfortunately, for these first few albums, I think if you don't find something you like on the first 2 albums, you're not going to find anything.
Probably going to find anything on the next 2.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. That's really the problem. And that's sort of the thing we said with, I think, Fields of Nephilim is that, right, if you don't like the first album or like the first 2 releases, you're probably not going to like the next ones. Yeah. And by the way, I've been listening to that Nephilim like solo album. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. But maybe we'll get to that one day. Cover some weird things. But yeah, that's And Also the Trees part 1, or if we do a part 2. But that's And Also the Trees. Yeah.
It's And Also the Trees, the first 4 albums.
Yeah, there you go. This has been GothCast episode 32. I am Dr. Sanders.
I'm Robbie Gore.
And of course, if you ever want to listen to the latest and greatest GothCast episodes and you want to listen to them on one of our partner sites, somebody who helps us out, it is The Belfry.
Yes, so they are a network of podcasts as well as YouTube channels and various blogs that we are a member of. And there's lots of great content on there, whether you're a veteran of the Gothic community or a newbie, trying to look for something to find in the Gothic world that strokes your interests. That's a weird choice of words, but I'm going with it. It's on there. And so definitely check it out. That's The Belfry. Mm-hmm. And why don't you go ahead and read off that glorious URL.
All right. So it's www.thebelfry. That's THEBELFRY.RIP.
Yeah, that's a great URL.
Yep.
And of course, we always got to plug our social media.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Facebook, which is just GothCast.
Yep.
We got an Instagram, again, GothCast.
Yeah.
We have YouTube channel, which is GothCast Space Video.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Gmail, which is gothcastradio@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Which leads us to what our website is, which is gothcastradio.com. No www, because why would we do that?
Yep.
And of course, we're always happy to respond to fan requests or comments. If you just want to contact us in general, any of those mediums work, very well. We're always usually pretty quick to respond to whatever.
Anything.
Usually we get Facebook messages and
like
comments or Instagram messages and comments.
Yeah.
Yet to get anything to the email, surprisingly.
Yeah, I know. It's always weird. But yeah. I'm not surprised. Facebook is so convenient today.
Yeah. And occasionally stuff shows up on the website.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fewer and further between.
Yeah, but definitely the Facebook is seems to be the main flow. Not by our choice. But
by the way, just want to briefly rant. Someone keeps tagging us in spam on Instagram, and it's really annoying me. Whoever you are, I'm going to find you because I have a very particular set of skills. Sorry.
People tagging us in spam? Sorry, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so someone's been tagging us with spam for like a couple days.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. I don't even know how that works.
Basically, it's like this thing that says you've been tagged in the ugliest people on Instagram, and try to get you to click on it, and somehow it's supposed to like hack your account. So I keep reporting them, and new accounts show up.
Really?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that was happening. I didn't even know it was happening. You on Instagram? You kids get off my Instagram.
No, it's okay. I'm just gonna keep reporting you.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this. And I actually think this episode was a request, but I can't seem to find the message that says that. So I'm just gonna say sorry.
I don't remember if it was or not.
Was it? I think it was. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, sorry Robert didn't like And Also the Trees that much.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I tried.
I didn't have to try. So, enjoy your night or morning.
I'm sorry if I ruined it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, stay spooky.